Well, there's lots of things kind of on Vicky's. I remember how Vicky, even from very small, she just seemed to be full of enthusiasm. You know, she was just always going places and doing things, and never really. And that's why it was when she got sick, she really got sick. And remember when she had that fever convulsion? Was that in
Oh,
Hawaii?
I
That was in
remember, yes, it
Hawaii,
was in
yeah.
Hawaii, and you were out of town.
Yeah,
You were on
and
a
we
trip.
had Brother Hogue, I think,
We had our home teacher come and
give her a
give her a
blessing.
blessing and drove us to the hospital. She had a
Yeah,
fever convulsion, febrile convulsion, I guess they call it, and a high fever. Certainly,
I
do you
remember that
that?
too.
You remember that? Yeah.
I remember one thing with Vicky. It was when we were living here, and you were gone someplace. I'm not sure where you were gone to, but she had this, just was really sick and really hurting. And Dr. Ray, that used to live down, I don't know where you were. You were probably off visiting your grandma or your mom or your sister, something. And I called Dr. Ray, and he came up and checked her out and says, she's got appendicitis. And we just went right straight to the hospital, and she had her appendix out. She wasn't very old at the time, but
It was,
I
in
remember
second grade, I
it
think.
seems like she's healthy and good, but when she got sick, she really got sick, it seemed like.
Well, she had a whole series of sickness, chicken pox and the appendicitis and something else within a couple of months' time.
Yeah.
And that's when she made her decision that she wanted to be a nurse. She never varied from that. She stuck with it.
Well, let's get Emily's, you're all familiar probably with Emily's birth. We were visiting Jane in, what's the name of the town there?
Auburn.
Auburn, Washington, which is close to Seattle. She had spent a semester of school with my sister Beth and her husband, and they had some children. And anyway, we were there, and we were ready to go back to Hawaii. I had spoken at a general conference, so it was in October, and the doctor in Hawaii said Jane could go as long as she was back in Hawaii by the 10th of October, because Jane was due, or Emily was due on the 10th of November. So we had our schedule. We were going to fly back on the 10th of October to be there by the 10th. And anyway, Jane's water broke that night, the night of the 9th, and we went to a hospital in Renton, Washington. And it was basically an all-night affair, but the doctor that the Relief Society president had recommended was turned out to be the one that was on call at the hospital. So
But the fact that the Relief Society president got involved was that Beth had not had children of her own. They had 2 adopted boys,
yeah,
and so she didn't know a good OB to call.
he turned out to be a really fine doctor and stayed with Jane the whole time. And Emily was born at
Just before noon.
just before noon, so we went about maybe 2-3 o'clock in the morning, something like that. So
It was a full, at least a 12-hour, little over
Yeah.
12-hour.
but I was really impressed with the doctor, and but he had a lot of monitoring machines, and he had me come and talk to him. He says, we've got some problems there, I just want you to be aware. And I remember just thinking, because every once in a while her heartbeat would just basically stop, and he'd say, I don't know quite what to do. And I just remember saying, come on, you can make it, you can make it. And and I really felt she could and would. And then he'd say, oh, we've got it again. Okay, now we've got to. I can't remember whether you had to turn her or.
Well, they, because of the fact that the heartbeat would go so low each time I would have a contraction, they were getting ready to take her by C-section. And they had me all prepped and ready, and just before he kind of checked again, and he said, you know, I think we'll maybe just try and do this without the surgery, and then things went pretty fast from then on.
Yeah.
She came normal and regular.
But,
So.
you know, as far as Jean's memory is concerned, at least the note that I have is that Emily was the only one that you had a baby shower for.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yes, we had to wait till number 11 that anyone gave us a baby shower, and the dear sisters in the Kahala branch or Kahala ward threw a wonderful baby shower for us. So we had a lot of brand new, cute little girl clothes for her.
Well,
I guess the
cousin,
reason
yeah.
is with Nancy, we moved from Indiana to just a couple of months before she was born back to Idaho, and the ward there in Idaho Falls was kind of older people, and they just, you know, we were brand new, they didn't really know us, so nothing happened in the way of a shower. And same thing with Liz. With Nancy we moved from Provo, but with Liz we moved from Indiana just before she was born, so the first two, and by the time you're having your third baby, they figure you've got everything you need, so it wasn't until number 11 that we had a fun baby shower.
And it was with Kathy Hinckley
Well, Kathy
Barnes,
was pregnant at the same time too, Kathy Hinckley Barnes.